The biggest thing about Scientology to me is, okay, if a consenting adult decides to join and give all their money away, I feel bad for them. But when kids are born into it, forced to work dozens of hours a week for free, treated like absolute crap.
Tommy G gets interviewed by Julian Dory on the scary things about Scientology. So let's get right into it, guys. Shout out to Julian Dory. This is absolutely fascinating. Here we go.
1 or 2 sentence responses sometimes. We're just nothing. Sometimes it's just a lack of curiosity that is frustrating to make a piece. Whereas if I'm bringing out an ex-Blackwater mercenary to show me tactical driving, how not to get kidnapped, how to shoot at targets, we can talk endlessly. We will talk for days on end until he boards his plane. I'll be talking to the guy and asking him questions. And so, and also I want to do more. We want to shine the light on things that are happening that, like Kenneth Copeland or Scientology. We want to do pieces that really bring a little bit of justice back.
I'm still waiting for his Kenneth Copeland video.
And expose just a little bit more what some of these people are doing.
Deb, did you see his Scientology video?
I did. I watch all Tommy G's videos.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really do.
Thank you, man.
So you just filmed that like 2 months ago, I think, right? Something like that?
That was a
2-3
crazy
months ago?
one. I didn't even know what that was until I seen your video.
Scientology?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I didn't even know. That's when I started looking it up. And I think you put in your video where they said they believe in something where they throw the beans. And yeah, it was your video. I seen it in it. And then they were kicking you out. And they wasn't trying to talk to you. And
Yeah.
So you hadn't covered that before. You go down there with Aaron, Jenna Miscavige, and Mark Bunker, who've all been in here.
And then there's also a guy named Serge that we got to meet, Serge Del Mar.
Yeah, I don't know him, but yeah.
Man, some of the stuff that he said was so compelling in his story and points to the biggest thing about Scientology to me is, okay, if a consenting adult decides to join and give all their money away, I feel bad for them. But when kids are born into it, forced to work dozens of hours a week for free, treated like absolute crap, separated from their parents.
Yep.
That makes me like. That's when you want to put the gloves on and just go in there.
Who came up with that? That's crazy.
L. Ron Hubbard, baby.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Guys, absolutely.
It's crazy how something can get started based off of just this guy literally trying to do anything to survive, a psychological liar. Like, he literally will just say anything to get away with making money. And it's wild, the things that he did. And literally, their whole religion is based off of a sci-fi book. It's insane. And now it's all about it's about manipulation and literally brainwashing, where they tell you things over and over and over until you start to believe things in your past that actually didn't happen.
One of the most psychotic stories you'll ever hear. He was like the science fiction writer of all time. He would just write like a version of Pulp Fiction that was terrible. These awful stories. I've never read them, but everyone says they're terrible. And then he ended up writing, I guess, like Dianetics, right? And coming up with the idea of Scientology. It had obviously some brilliance in creating like a cult of authority around him, and then preyed on every human being's desire, which is like, you know, the ability to get wealth, the ability to be a part of something, and the ability to feel like they have something to look forward to in the afterlife.
They thought they were saving the world, so how would you not want to be part of the mission?
Right. And
Wait, so do they get rich when they?
No, they get poor. They get in debt massively.
A lot of them get poor, and then
And
you'll
who gets?
hear,
So the person at the top gets rich.
yeah, because they pay into it and everything. And then you'll hear about like the Tom Cruises and the Grant Cardones and the people who
They're in it too.
Oh yeah,
They're Scientologists.
Oh yeah, Grant Cardone's a Scientologist.
Dang, so they're evil finessers.
That's what I'm saying. Grant Cardone's gonna run for governor. I want to say in California, and I'm like, do we know who? You weren't with me when I heard that. I forget if it's California or Florida. One of them, allegedly, is gonna be running for governor. And I'm like, how can you even get past the Scientology thing? Like the minute that comes up,
I can't wait to see the debates.
He better be cooked. Yeah,
Right.
like, but that's what I'm saying. Like people like that will profit off of it.
Does he have kids?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He did the same thing. He put his kids in the Scientology.
No,
I don't know
because
that for
he
a
was a
fact.
businessman that joined Scientology.
Right.
So, and there's the celebrity sphere, they get to kind of do their normal thing and enjoy their life, and then they get treated like a VIP when they show up to Scientology.
Yes.
But then they have their worker bees who are every day doing hard labor, whether they're dry cleaning, they're putting concrete up, like pretty much every internal job that they don't have to hire a contractor for, they do free labor for.
Yep.
Oh, so he's
They're basically
Scientology to use slaves, basically.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So that's why. So he doesn't actually believe some knight came and threw beans in a volcano.
I don't know.
There's no
I
way
don't
they
think
actually
he
believe
did.
that. I
No.
think I was about to ask. There's definitely got to be something behind that. So
Well,
that's
the
what
other
it is.
thing
He wants
is
to
you
free
only
slaves.
learn that. You're only supposed to learn that information after you've been in for a long time and paid a lot of money. And so then you have
And they
this,
tell you that.
yes. So then you have
They
the sunk
imprison
cost
people.
fallacy where
I went down a rabbit hole, watched these college students completely infiltrate all of the system, and they were literally forcing you to buy their book. This is the craziest story. This kid, pretending to be interested in Scientology, and they're like, okay, to get started, you have to buy this book. I mean, they had him do other tests first, but he's like, you need to buy this book first. And he's like, literally, I have no money at all. And then he goes and pretends to steal a PS5 or PlayStation, and he sells it. And he comes back and says, hey, I just went and stole my friend's PS5 and made some money. Is that okay? They're like, yeah, as long as that's okay with you, that's fine. Just buy it. That's literally how insane Scientology is.
tens of thousands of dollars, you've already given up your entire family circle and only people you know are in Scientology. And then you learn this information and it might be disappointing, but you're already so far deep that you probably don't want to get out for the most part.
The guy who's been in charge of Scientology since L. Ron Hubbard died is this very short guy named David Miscavige.
Very short.
And
Very short. How short
so
is
that's
he?
since like 1986. His niece Jenna, who was in the video with Tommy, who I did a podcast with, she was born into their Sea Org because her parents are obviously like the brother and brother-in-law of David Miscavige, which means that's like literally like in the cult of the cult, like you're basically living in your own world. Like it's enclosed, they're shut out. Like she knew who the president of the United States was, but didn't know like what the importance of that was or anything like that. And she lived the first 21 years of her life in this. And then, it's like very hard to disconnect.
In the building?
Basically, yeah. And then, she found her way out of it, and she basically, it was like being born again. Like she came into a world and she's like, wow, what is all this shit? And they, have tried to slander her and a lot of other things as well, and they ruined her life. But like you see the brainwashing that happens and the lack of choice she had over anything she did and the bullshit that they fed her. And it is impossible to not feel terrible. Because she's not dumb. She's born into it. Like,
How
what
is
the
it
fuck else
legal?
is she supposed to do? And that's what I asked, dude. How the fuck is it legal?
Is it because the higher ups are in it too, huh?
Well, it's that, and also they have, like, Mark Bunker can talk to this a lot because he's spent.
I think they have so much money, they cover up everything so well. But you'd think they would be able to raid after all of the accusations going on. But what do I know, right?
Life, like, trying to document it. But, they find loopholes with the IRS. They're declared, like, a religious organization. There's been,
They're super scamming.
They're super scamming. Yeah, they're the real scammers. They're like,
Yes.
they're the next level scamming. But you guys, like, so you went and like crashed the headquarters and everything. Like, how was that?
There's no conversations to be had. It's just they kind of, hey, get out, you're trespassing. I wish I was a little less juvenile with them, and I wish I asked them a little more hard-hitting things at that time, but I knew there was no real conversation that would be generated from them, so it didn't matter what I said to them. But the most interesting part, I think, was getting to get their top flight security that guarded the Celebrity Center, because they're kind of the equivalent of the CIA for Scientology. Right. And they even got a little handsy.
They got handsy.
They were kind of pushing me out of the fence, and I pushed them back, and I was expecting a law. I was wondering if a lawsuit was going to happen. But I think for a lot of these cults, a lawsuit is bad because now all of a sudden you have to air out all your dirty laundry in the eyes of court. There's investigations. So it's better just to be silent than it is to go after someone.
Wow.
Their main headquarters is in Clearwater, Florida. And one of the things they do that is, I mean, it's sinister, but it's kind of brilliant. Like, is they buy up all the real estate around where they are, and it just stays empty. So they basically create their own little ghost town there.
It's like North Korea.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I never knew about none of this till your video.
Oh, it's nuts, man.
They need to make a movie on it.
I never noticed when you drive. I've been to Clearwater a lot because I live in Florida. And when you drive through those areas, I never noticed. It is kind of like a strange area, that is for sure. I mean, it's beautiful, Clearwater Beach, but it's strange.
They made a movie that's like kind of based on it that doesn't directly like go at it.
What's
called
that?
The Master.
Hmm.
It's Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix, and I think it's been a while since I've seen it. Philip Seymour Hoffman is supposed to be like L. Ron Hubbard.
That's a good.
So who would you
casting.
rather be taken down? Like, you know how like all the rappers and gangs get Ricos? Would you rather them, or would you rather the Scientologists? get
Scientologists.
Ricos?
Yeah,
by
for
a lot.
sure. Easy.
So how are
By
they
a lot.
still getting away with everything then?
It's about who you know and
I guess they're doing it the right.
dealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have enough resources to have a powerful front in court, and I think the religious shield helps them quite a bit as well. But I was just reading about a cult in Spindale, North Carolina, about an hour away from Charlotte. A lady named Jane Whaley, Word of Fellowship Church. It makes me so mad when some of the things that they do to people there. But like documented child abuse, documented slave labor, documented manipulation, control.
This is why a church needs some type of overseer. You need some type of accountability. You can't just, people start churches all the time, but you got to have some accountability. Otherwise, you have spiritual abuse. That's the problem. And then it looks so bad on Christianity. And that makes me upset because I don't want Christianity to be put in a bad light. Obviously, I want to let people know, don't be mad at Jesus, be mad at the person. You can't be mad at Beethoven if someone plays Beethoven wrong, just like you can't be mad at Jesus if someone portrays Jesus wrong.
And somehow the authorities know about it, the sheriffs know about it, and for some reason
Well, it's because of religion. So you can do whatever you want as long as you just say it's a religion.
it seems like that sometimes.
Do you think there's more there though? Blackmail, things like that.
Well, I think a lot of it's happening behind closed doors, and I think they're so good at controlling people that if one person escapes to say something, they have 20 members that they've already prepared their story on.
They torture.
He's a liar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they torture these people like in Scientology when they leave. I mean, there's campaigns against them like you wouldn't believe.
They have people showing
This
up
is
to their
crazy.
house. They have people.
I'm gonna look into
they
it.
hire private investigators to tail people.
Yep.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, it's dark, man. I mean, we've done 4 in here, and there's one like, so when Ron and Jenna were here, they were here for a couple days. First day I recorded with Ron. He was basically born.
Ron, you call him?
Yeah.
Okay.
You never saw that?
Ron?
No, but I like that.
On his videos, because he starts off the video with the Key and Peele skit. Like that's his tagline, like Ron. But he was here.
That's funny.
We recorded one day, and then the next day they came back, and I did the episode with Jenna. But I don't know if you've run into stuff. When we finished recording with Aaron, someone had put a New York Scientology brochure below my mailbox downstairs. And I'm like, God damn.
So
Now,
they're following them?
yeah, that's what I think.
Jeez.
I've never seen that before.
That's crazy. Have any of you guys had any confrontations with Scientology or know anyone with Scientology? I'd love to know. But yeah, I encourage you, keep on living for Jesus and be a light for Jesus in the darkness. When people betray God wrong, when they fail to show the real light of Jesus, I encourage you guys to continue to push through and be strong. And yeah, if you've never decided to follow Jesus, I encourage you to do that today. In the description below, click a link. I encourage you to click a link to help you to decide to follow Jesus for the first time. I encourage you to do that today. And remember, guys, Jesus loves you.